Welcome back to the channel. Today I will be installing a new thermostat on an SR20det. I will be using a Nismo thermostat and my engine is partially disassembled, so it's gonna be better view. You're gonna have to not struggle, but you're gonna have to move a few things out of the way. First thing you're gonna have to do is remove your lower coolant hose. At least put it out of the way. You don't need to disinstall everything. I would recommend at least removing, if you have the stock fan shroud, remove the top portion. It's you can separate the top portion from the bottom one. If you have electric fans, you might not need to, or any other fan setup, you might not need to remove anything, just that lower coolant hose. After you remove the coolant hose, you're going to remove these 3 bolts, remove your old thermostat, install the new one, create a new gasket, and reinstall everything. Tools you're going to need for this install and materials: you're going to need your thermostat. I will be using a Nismo one. There's other brands you can use. Install is going to be the same no matter what thermostat you use, so you can use any one you want. I'm going to use a Nismo one. I recommend using a plastic scraper, but you don't have to use a plastic scraper. You can use a metal one. I just prefer plastic to avoid scoring or damaging the surface and just making it worse. But like I said, it's not needed. You can use a metal one. I just recommend a plastic one. Your gasket maker, I always use ultra gray on Nissans. Remember to follow your gasket maker's instruction. And a 10mm wrench. I always carry an extension just in case. It makes things easier, but I don't think it's needed for this install. I just like having one just in case, and I always recommend having it just for, commodity. So let's start. Something I recommend when you're doing this type of install is always take a picture of what you're disassembling. Because in this case, if you noticed in the video, it has a little, I think it's called a weep hole. This little vent here is supposed to go on top. A lot of people, by mistake, don't notice it when they're installing their thermostat and install it sideways or upside down, and they cannot bleed their system properly. This is one of the reasons. So like I said, if you have a picture, it's good for reference. If not, remember to make note that this goes on top when you install it. Like you just saw me do, clean up the surface really good. As you saw, the plastic scraper does wonders instead of marking that surface. Install a new gasket following your gasket maker's instruction. As you saw, I'm not the best at all, I have to admit it, at making a good gasket seal, but you need to do a continuous bead, including around the holes, and then just hand tighten it until it starts to squeeze out. That's the instructions I got from the Ultra Gray. You hand tighten it until it starts squishing out, leave it for 1 hour, and then you come in and torque it to torque specs. I'm gonna leave that dry and start working on our things and come back to torque it.
1 hour later.
And that is how you install a new thermostat in your SR20DT. It's very similar for other engines, especially Nissan engines, mostly the KA and the SR. They're very similar. What changes is this housing shape. That's all you're gonna do. Remove your hose, remove the housing, remove and then install the new thermostat, apply the gasket, follow the instructions, tighten and torque these bolts to spec, reinstall the hose, and then follow any procedure you're going to do to bleed your system. Remember, you're going to have to bleed your system afterwards and double check that you bled it correctly. If you have any recommendations, any other videos you would like me to make, just let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks for watching.